Welcome, Dad, to another uh, great episode with the Dad Puzzles. Today we do have a special guest um, that will be diving with us into the heart of what it means to be a real dad. Stay tuned about that. Is an amazing framework that my friend has come up with, and he's joining us. He's the man behind this movement, Angelo Melchiorre. He's the founder of the Real Dad Life community. Angelo, welcome to the show, my friend.
Oh, my man. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you tell us a little bit about you, sir?
Yeah, sure. So that's, I'm a talker. You noted, my name is Italian. I talk with my hands, but I also
Right.
tell a lot of stories. So I'll try and keep this short and sweet though.
No problem, my
So,
friend.
if anyone, my biggest presence is on LinkedIn. So that's where most people come to find me. And my tagline is recruiter by day, dad community builder by night. So my day job is as a recruiter. I've been doing that for over a decade now. Really love it. I've done both IT and non-IT stuff. So basically, like how I explain it to my kids is,
Mm-hmm.
hey kids, so daddy calls people who are looking for jobs and I help match them together. That's the simplest way to explain. I literally walked my son through that last night and like how I do my job. And because he thinks it's so cool, I'm on the computer all day
Mm-hmm.
and then he's talk on the phone. But that's just my corporate life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get to do a lot of good things. I get to change lives by helping people get jobs. It's a tough job market out there, and it's
Right.
really fulfilling when I match a great candidate with a great company. And a lot of times they're getting more money than they used to get, or maybe they've been out of work, and people are really happy. So I like
Mm-hmm.
facilitating that connection. So I've taken that skill, all the skills I've learned in the corporate world, and just my natural ability to connect people together, just hold conversations and just create friendships. And I've
Mm-hmm.
started a community for dads called the Real Dad Life, which you mentioned. And this is my passion project. It's, kind of a side hustle, but it's all free. So I don't even know if you call it a side hustle,
Mm-hmm.
but it's corporate for the bills, side hustle for the thrills. So all my buckets are full right now. It's
Amazing.
really scary putting yourself out there, but that the communities, in my terms of success, it's going really well. We have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of great guys in there that are just getting, a lot out of it. And it's just like anything, it's whatever you put into it, you're going to get out of it. And we can talk more about that, but that's me. I'm a dad times two. I have a 5-year-old and a soon to be 8-year-old. So kindergarten and second grade, I coach youth sports. That's something I would do literally every single day of my life for free. I coach flag football right now, and I've coached little league baseball.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff seriously fills me up. So, yeah, happy to dive into anything you want on those areas.
Oh, amazing. Me, I really admire folks that are doing the direct work with the little ones because you have that experience at home and also you do have that experience outside. So this is for me is much respect. I appreciate that. Yes, sir.
You got it.
Awesome, awesome. So I was trying to talk a little bit about the community building because you have this impressive community that is focused on empowering dads. So what inspired you to start this community, my friend?
I've always wanted to start a community. For me, it's all about like community is everything. Just
Hmm.
literally as humans, like we are meant to be in communities. And
Hmm.
over the pandemic, everyone lost their community. And your
Right.
community can be anything from your workplace. So we
Hmm.
went from in office to all remote. People who are in sports. So I am an athlete, and I used to play in a lot of sports. Like volleyball was a huge place for me, like a great outlet. So that's a community. It could be the
Hmm.
community of your gym. Like communities are everywhere, but we lost that during the pandemic, and
Hmm.
we got in a new pandemic of loneliness. People just being isolated, and it is a choice to be isolated. And I
Hmm.
found myself feeling like that more and more. And the biggest thing I missed when I went from transitioning corporate world to entrepreneurship for a while last year was I missed my team. I
Hmm.
was in leadership for the last 7 years, and I just absolutely loved the people development side of things. I loved pouring into people, not just to make the company more money. Like honestly, I couldn't care less about making the company more money.
Hmm.
Because I knew that would be a byproduct of pouring into the people and just
Hmm.
like wholeheartedly helping them become better people. And then
Hmm.
everyone's going to make more money and everyone's going to be happy. So Again, like I missed that. So when I lost my full-time job last summer,
Mm-hmm.
I had in the work, like I already knew I was going to get into entrepreneur. I wanted to get into coaching or like life coaching, personal development style coaching at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And my original idea was, everyone who I coach, all my clients are going to go into this community and we're all going to have these, bonds and everyone's going to share this in common. But I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't have anything that like felt right. Like, cause I didn't want to make a community like just to monetize it and like make a buck. Like that just felt weird. And I didn't feel that that like served a greater purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I also never niched down to say I'm only helping dads because I didn't want to come across as a parenting coach or a relationship coach because I'm neither. Like
Mm-hmm.
I approach everything from the inside out. Like we got to take care of our own stuff first. So then we show up whole for our families, our wives, our kids, and everyone around us. So it just kind of got to a point where it was so up and down with coaching. I had some great client success, like I had some great wins,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know really what direction I wanted to go, and there were some things I didn't like about it and things I did. And I just had a lot of people, just all these little signs that, hey, you'd be great in the dad space. And I said, you know what, that's where I really want to play in, because I've always looked to try and like inspire other dads, because I've noticed the issue where a lot of men, once they become fathers, it's kind of like life's over in a way.
Mm-hmm.
They get so stressed because of the bills. It makes everything more complicated, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just so much more of a burden. Like you take a mortgage when you're single, it's like, okay, cool, I have a mortgage. When you have a family, it's like, oh my god, I have a mortgage. Like
Right.
you get laid off,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Again, you're
Mm-hmm.
single, you don't have kids, you go live in a van. Who
Right.
cares? I would
you,
do that.
you have
you know,
options. Yes,
right?
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
I just really leaned in. I said, what do I have to lose? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
really have nothing to lose. Like, I really
Mm-hmm.
care about this. So I'd rather fail at something that I really wholeheartedly have a lot of fun in and a lot of passion for
Mm-hmm.
than, something where I'm like on the fence. So I just went all in, and it was a happy accident that the community formed.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was I made a post on LinkedIn that was about how we can raise our energy throughout the day by taking little action. For
Mm-hmm.
example, you could do 10 push-ups when you brush your teeth. If you do that every day and you brush your
Mm-hmm.
teeth twice a day, you could do over 7,000 push-ups in the year. That's a big number.
Right.
But if I told you, hey, do 7,000 push-ups this year, you'd be like, no, I don't know. I don't
Right.
want to do that. No, 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 no. You're like,
Right.
dude, no, 10 in the morning, 10 at night. So
Amazing.
somebody on it said, hey, I do push-ups with my kids. I had another guy say, I do push-ups with my kids too. I had a bunch of engagement. I said, hey, sounds like we should get a bunch of dads together to do 1 million push-ups by the end of this year.
There you go.
And the first dad, Antonio Mills, said, I'm in. Let's do it. And I said, all
Mm-hmm.
right, boom, done. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. Here's a challenge. I put a poll out there the very next day. I had over
Mm-hmm.
60 dads interested. And, now to date, we have over 100 dads have participated from 5 different countries. We're nearly at 500,000 push-ups. And we just
Nice.
got some really awesome stories. But I created a community out of it. So the challenge is part of the real dad life.
Mm-hmm.
It's helping dads either just get off the couch, get a win for the day,
Right.
or the dads who are already exercising daily, just helping them be a part of something bigger.
Right.
And it's just a way for them to build connection with other guys. So it's on Slack. It's a private community, so guys can, like, they're connecting one-on-one offline. We do
Mm-hmm.
virtual meetups. Again, this is all free. I have
Mm-hmm.
different channels so guys can have, all different types of conversation. Like one of my favorite ones is the Dad Vice channel. So, people have just, regular parenting questions, relationship things, just their own struggles, or they're just there to say, hey guys, this is what's worked for me in the past. Because I have guys that they're not so much active like posting or messaging, but I know they go in there and they scroll through to see like what are the other guys experiencing right now,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't feel alone. Like, oh, that's great, someone else is going through this and that's what they did. Awesome. I feel really good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, well, let's touch a little bit about this amazing framework that you do have. The real dad. So we're talking about being, like resilient, engaging, authentic, loving. So how did you develop this over time?
It just came to me on a walk.
Yeah.
So when I created this challenge, I said, all
Mm,
right, well, when this is going to be a community. This is it.
right.
Like, this is the spark and the glue is the push-ups,
Hmm.
but we're not a push-up group, right? That's just the challenge. The
Hmm.
community is something bigger.
Mm.
I thought, what could I call it? And it honestly just dawned on me, the real dad life, because I'm tired of the traditional dad life. What do you think of when you hear dad life? It's usually the dad on Sundays who's just sitting on the couch. He has a 6-pack of beer. He's got his potato chips. His kids are in the other room, and he's just locked in his man cave, and he's not doing anything else, right? And dads are portrayed as lazy and letting themselves go. I'm like, that is not the dad life that I prescribe to, and I
Hmm.
don't think anyone needs to prescribe to that. Like,
Right.
it's okay to watch the games, and have a drink if you want, but
Hmm.
like, don't take it to the extreme.
Right.
And I just thought the real dad life sounded good, and I went on, to see if the domain was available, and the realdadlife.com was available.
Hmm.
And then 2 days later, I was on a walk, and all of a sudden, it literally just hit me. I was like, oh my gosh,
This is it.
REAL is an acronym: resilient,
Hmm.
mind, body, and spirit, engaged,
Yeah.
authentic, loving. It was
Amazing.
awesome when it came to me.
That's amazing, boss.
Yeah.
I because sometimes it's hard to come up with something that connects, and this is amazing when you find it.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can
Awesome.
dive into each if you want to. And I know you had
Sure,
asked
please. Like
beforehand.
if because this is like you can probably give a little bit of gifts to people so
Yeah.
they can see what is this all about, and for a person that is missing, let's say somebody's missing authenticity,
Mhm.
or is missing, just one of the feature there, like loving, etc. How can we do to you know to have that?
Yeah. So I'll try and keep it as simple as possible, because as men, we look to overcomplicate things all the time. So I'll explain what each of them are, my
Right.
intentions behind it, and just like a little action that you can do.
Right.
So resilient, mind, body, and spirit. Resiliency, just plain and simple, is just how you deal with difficult things. It's
Mhm.
how quickly you bounce back. So mind,
Yep.
body, and spirit, are fit. We usually think physical, like, oh, we have to get to the gym. We got to be tough. We got to be strong. We got to just get back up when we fall down. Yeah, that's part of it. Okay. But, so you challenge yourself physically. It could be through the push-up challenge.
Mhm.
Some guys say just doing 10 push-ups a day is
Mhm.
a serious challenge for them. Okay, do it. If you can do 10 push-ups, do it. If you can only do 5, do 5. If you can do 100, do 100. You don't have to go to the gym for 60 minutes, 90 minutes a day. You could go for a 5-minute walk a day. Challenge yourself physically. When you challenge yourself mentally, so being resilient with our mindset, it could be taking a cold shower if that's your thing, or a cold plunge if that's your thing. It could be writing daily. So like I love journaling.
Mhm.
That helps sharpen my mind every single day, and I read every single day as well. Could be doing puzzles, and
Hey,
you can do right, dad puzzles.
that's it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So anything
Mhm.
anything to challenge the mind. So
Mhm.
just keep it really simple. And then
Mhm.
spiritually, right? Like, some people are afraid of, like, oh, well, I'm not like religious. Well, spirituality doesn't mean you're religious. They're two totally separate things.
Mhm.
Because I don't consider myself a like deeply religious person, but I'm
Mhm.
spiritual, right? And that's just my view on it, and I respect every single person's view. But I think that it's important for men to believe in something bigger than themselves, like that there's a higher power out there in some way, shape, or form. Doesn't matter what religion you follow. Like, there really isn't any denying that, like, there's no way that this is all possible without some type of higher power, energy source, God, like, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
There is something out there.
Right.
But you got to look within too, and like, spirituality, I think, is all about connecting with inside too.
Mhm.
So whether you want to pray, if that's your way, or
Mhm.
for me personally, I love meditating, because it helps me really slow down and just.
Want real results that last? Stop wasting time on quick fixes. A no-fat approach to sustainable fitness, radiant health, and mental well-being is your roadmap to lasting transformation. Learn how to fuel your body, move with joy, and cultivate mental strength, all without the restrictive rules. Start your journey to sustainable success. Download your guide today.
Connect with me. It's a busy world, so it really helps me slow down. So resiliency is kind of a bigger one to discuss.
Right.
These next ones are easy. Engaged. It's simply just being there with your family, not just physically, but you are mentally there as well. Okay. So we need to ditch the coming home from work and carrying work with us. Like, you got to drop work at work. And I share ways to do that, but engage. It can be as simple as, honestly, set your watch or set a timer for 15 minutes and just play with your kids. If you have multiple kids, try and give them each like one-on-one time for like a few minutes at a time, or all of them at once. So actually be with them, not just in the room. Like, get engaged, like get physically play with them, roll around, wrestle on them, read books with them, again, do some puzzles or color with them, throw the football, like play dress up with them if they want to, like whatever, like get into
imaginary
character.
houses and stuff, all the kind of stuff they're doing. Yes, sir.
Have some fun. Authentic. This is a hard one because it takes a long time for people to really be comfortable being authentically themselves. Like, personally, it's taken me years on a self-discovery journey to, one, just even find out who the heck am I, right? Like, what do I really stand for? But now I'm comfortable 100% just being me at work, outside of work, in someone else's home, in my home, in front of strangers. It doesn't matter, because I know that it doesn't matter if someone's judging me. Like, I pass no judgment and I feel no judgment is a mantra I say every single day. And I'm not afraid, because I know if I'm just me, I'm going to attract the people that I want to attract and that are like me too. So a way to know if you're not really being authentic is if you go into a group of people that you may not know are at work, and you just feel that you're trying to fit in, or you don't really feel comfortable because you're like, I don't know, these people just don't really seem to get me. I don't really understand it. And you feel a little anxious because you think if you say something, you're going to be judged. Well, you're not really being your authentic self.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
we got to really lean into that. And loving is my favorite one. Like, I want to help dads learn to lead with love, because love always wins. Love is not just our words. It's more so through our actions. And you can do that through being engaged with your kids, being in the same room as them, just, again, doing things with them, telling your kids you love them, but, giving them that hug, giving them that kiss. Like, I'll stop my kids randomly throughout the day and just say, hey, bud, I love you for who you are. Like, I'm so proud of you for the big kid you're growing up to be.
Right.
I love you.
Yes, sir.
And just remind them that, like, let them know you're proud of them. Let them know, it's a good job. I as a youth football coach, I email the parents every week to do like a game recap and when we have practices. And I always emphasize, like, for the parents, like, I will handle everything on the field. I'll handle instructions. I'll handle kids who are distracted, who aren't paying attention. Like, that's not an issue. Like, it doesn't bother me. These are second and third graders. All I ask the parents to do, I say, at home, the best way you can support me as a coach and your kid is just let them know you love them, let them know you're proud of them, and you love watching them play. Everything else I'll handle. So if your kid, you felt they were a distraction, because I had a conversation with a parent who said, I'm sorry, I feel like my kid was like a big distraction last week. And I talked to him about it. I said, dude, don't worry about it. Your kid's awesome. He's never played before. He's meeting my expectations so far, and I'll handle it on the field. Just let him know you're proud of him. Trust me, the more he has fun and knows that you love watching him play, the more he's going to get interested. But you know what? If he's not interested, who cares? He'll try something else, right? That's okay. So just getting dads to lean into, leading with love and, as a man, that requires some vulnerability,
Mm-hmm.
and that can be tough. So you gotta, again, inside out. It may sound weird to people who don't get it, but you gotta love yourself first. Like if you really like love yourself, you're going to be able to pour that much love back into everyone around you, and they're going to
Right.
feel that.
Yeah, man, yeah. So many times now, like I think maybe it's with the age or is the loving thing. Many times they get you really emotional. These guys, especially when they express their love and or they're crying for you, like you're dropping off to school. Like them to school, they don't want to leave you. They don't want to be with you, and all these things. Man, you're driving back, you feel like all kinds of emotions, so like it comes with the territory, I guess, so definitely we have to show love to them because they're the ones that are really going to be there for us, whether you have a job or no job. Like when the world ends, they're the ones that are going to be right there next to you,
Yeah.
my friend.
Yep. And something on that real quick is you had mentioned the kids will always be there whether you have a job or not.
Right.
And something that we all get caught up in is how much money we make as dads,
Hmm.
because we fall in this trap of we are just a provider from a financial standpoint, and that's all we're there for.
Hmm.
And we can tie our self-worth to the money we make. So I put a challenge out there to dads before. I said, hey, ask your kids, what do you do for work
Hmm.
and how much money do you make? I guarantee they probably know very little about what you do,
Hmm.
and they have no idea how much you make because money, they don't understand money. I
Right.
asked my son that when I was, full time, looking to try and make coaching be a full time income, and I wasn't making much money. It was very satisfying. I was
Hmm.
making some money, but I made really good money in corporate. So I said, "Hey,
Hmm.
bud, like, what do I do?" And he's like, "Oh, like you coach people. Okay, cool. Like, how much money do you think I make?" 7 billion.
Yes.
I said, all
Yeah.
right. How much do you think I made at my, I mentioned my last corporate job. He's
Hmm.
like, I don't know, like 12 money,
There you go.
right? Like he doesn't care. Like
Yes.
he just cared that I was home with him. I was there. I was available. So
Right.
like if I didn't handle my stress and I let
Hmm.
that go back on him, like, so like our kids don't care what our title is, how much money we make. Like they just love us for us. And your kids are the ultimate truth tellers. So if you ever have any questions, you're feeling insecure about something, go ask your kids if they even know about it. They won't.
My friend.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is amazing. Thank you. And I think you've touched something very important about, being vulnerable and so how do you, I know your community create that safe place for dads to open up and, and connect on a deeper level. I think these are the things that probably you emphasize about them to being vulnerable with with each other as dads and also with our kids and their families so we can become like better leaders. Can you talk a little bit about that, my friend?
Yeah, so with the community, it's a safe space. It's private,
Hmm.
right? I mean, it's free to join, but it is private, and
Hmm.
I let guys know that I want them to feel comfortable
Hmm.
sharing whatever they want to share, and nobody's going to judge.
Hmm.
And how I do that is like just do it to your comfort level. You want to dip a toe in the water, you want to jump in the deep end, that's fine. We've had guys go just what they write, you're like, whoa, that's heavy,
Hmm.
and they felt comfortable, right? I had a dad share something, goes, hey, this is the real dad life. So heck, if you guys feel this is too heavy, then I don't know what group I can share this in.
Right.
This is called the real dad life.
That's it.
This is real life. But honestly, I see it as a responsibility as a leader of the community that it starts with me. Now, I don't treat myself as the leader of like, oh, this is my group and everything's going to run the way I want it to run. I'm looking to build it as a true community, and a true community is the members are the ones who run it because it's their community, not my community.
Right.
So like all decisions that are made, I'm doing it based on what I feel, from feedback I'm getting or just asking guys. But I got to be vulnerable first. And I realize that not everyone is at my level of vulnerability yet. Because again, I've gone through, I've had multiple coaches myself. I've done a lot of deep inner work, and not every dad has. And that's okay. But if I can lead with vulnerability, and if I can just get these guys to be like a little curious, then eventually they're going to feel more comfortable opening up. So I've shared some things in the group just for the sole sake of letting other people know that I face those struggles too, or how I've overcome it. And then all it takes is just one other dad to share it. And then someone else says, "Oh yeah, I felt that too."
I'm
And
not
it may take someone months, to
right.
get to that point. That's okay. It's
There
not
you
meant
go.
to be something like that.
Oh, that's amazing. It's good for people to relate and not feel like, oh, I'm the widow or something.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
Oh my goodness. I like how you have this motto of taking care of yourself. I think
Mhm.
this is a great mentality because you know how the usual like example provided is normally if for instance you're in the airplane and there's a problem, you got to put your the mask on yourself first so that you're able to help the other folks. So can you talk a little bit about this, my friend? Because what are the practical strategies do you recommend for the dads to prioritize themselves? You
Yeah.
know,
So you mentioned the number one analogy that everyone can relate to. You're on an airplane and it's going down. They say put your oxygen mask on first.
right,
So you got to take care of yourself to take care of business.
right.
Plain and simple. It is all about our energy levels. When our kids come home, they want all of us. They don't want the leftovers, and they don't deserve the leftovers. So if
Hmm.
you always feel like you're coming home, or if you're working from home and your kids come home and you're just totally depleted, you're not able to be and go full out dad mode.
Hmm.
So you've got to do little things throughout the day to keep your energy high. The simplest things you can do are just take care of your basic needs. Are you
Right.
drinking enough water?
Hmm.
Are you eating healthy foods for your body? And are you getting enough sleep? And are you moving? Those are
Hmm.
the simplest things, because we typically just, we log into work at 8, 9 o'clock, and most people say, "Oh my gosh, I don't know
Hmm.
where the day went. I've been in front of my computer since 8 a.m." And,
Right.
did you really actually work? And were you super productive for like 8, 9 hours? No, I doubt it. Like I
Hmm.
do, I get more work done now than I ever did in my career. And I take the most amount of breaks that I've ever taken in my life, because my energy, I'm always keeping it high. I don't sit for hours upon hours. So like every hour I
Hmm.
have a timer, I'll get up and I'll go walk around for like 5 minutes. I pay attention to my breathing. So, cause like when you're stressed, it's going to be like a night, like a shallow and faster breathing. But, I slow my breath down. I'm making sure I have a giant water bottle right here, right? So like this thing's always full.
No,
I'm
there you
making
go.
sure I'm making sure I'm nailing my breakfast, my snacks, my lunch, and getting enough protein, getting enough calories, like constantly moving my body. Like it's really, again, we don't have to overcomplicate it. We just look at our basic needs first, and then we can start looking elsewhere to make it a little more advanced. We can start talking about different gym routines. We can start talking about different lifestyle changes for your diet. We can start talking about meditation. We can start talking about, the nutrients that you're getting out of your food. Okay.
Hmm.
Just keep it super simple in the beginning.
Oh man,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing. Because I read somewhere, recently, like when we all read and stuff. I think I like this idea of trying to fix something at a time. Like if like you replace, let's say, uh, these juicy drinks or anything junk with water or something,
Yeah.
or maybe instead of doing five, you do six or seven. Like you improve
Mhm.
something every day. I think with time you end up doing amazing work.
Oh yeah. It's the little things that matter. So the thing that I would tell every guy to start working on
Hmm.
is, number one, have a glass of water next to
Hmm.
your bed when you wake up.
Okay.
So drink that glass of water as
Hmm.
soon as you wake up. Don't have your coffee yet. Drink that water. And if you can get some movement in, get some movement in. Just start there. Do
Right.
that for like 2 weeks and get used to drinking a glass of water right there. You're gonna be a little ahead on your hydration. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can start moving into other things, but it's just keep it simple.
Right.
Yeah.
I like this one. Yes.
Yeah.
It's what it's my it's an amazing thing, but it's been working amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And what about this 1 million push up challenge? I know you spoke a little bit about it, and this has
Mm-hmm.
been great. And I know you have a bigger number right now, and I hope I can join as well to add up, um, to add up, you know, to make sure that we reach that goals sooner. Like the
Absolutely.
more
Hey,
we have, the better, right?
the more the merrier. So
Exactly.
yeah. So I
And
talked
my
about a
friend,
little. Yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. So the million push-up challenge, again, talked about that a little earlier, where it
Hmm.
just kind of started by accident. But for me, I love big challenges. And
Hmm.
I love doing something that seems a little crazy and a little impossible,
Hmm.
just to prove that it is possible.
Right.
So I've always pushed myself a little bit more than other people, just so I can show, not that I'm better than you,
Hmm.
but to show you it's possible.
Right.
So if I can inspire one other person just to get
Hmm.
off the couch and maybe exercise that day, or just do something a little different because I did it and I'm just a normal average dude, then that's amazing. I did my job. So the million push-up challenge is simply that. It's to, no one's going to do a million push-ups themselves in a year, but how cool is it to be a part of a big challenge like that solo,
Right.
it's impossible.
Hmm.
But as a community,
Right.
anything is possible. So we need more guys in the challenge.
Right. Right.
There is no minimum commitment. You do push-ups whenever you can, however you can. Any variation counts. This is the honor system. This isn't, no one's at your house watching your push-up form. I just ask guys to push themselves a little bit.
Right.
Don't push themselves to the point of burnout and they're getting injured. Just challenge yourself, and it's a daily win. You would be surprised.
Tired of fads and frustration? Build sustainable wellness for life. Forget quick fixes that fail to deliver lasting results. Imagine feeling energized, moving confidently, and radiating health for years. Achieving true wellness isn't about exhaustion or deprivation. It's about building habits that fit seamlessly into your life. Invest in yourself today for lasting fitness, radiant health, and mental well-being. Ready to transform your life? Click here to learn more. By purchasing the book, you'll gain lifetime access to updates, newsletters, future editions, and exclusive wellness bonuses from the author. Start your journey to wellness now.
Surprised at how many dads actually, the stories are, what am I capable of now? Right? Because I have a lot of dads that are coming off of not doing exercise like for years. And they're like, wow, I've done 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 push-ups now.
Hmm.
And now I'm asking what else is possible. Like, I feel really good. My kids are getting on my back now. They're laughing. They're having an amazing time.
Hmm.
Because I ask dads to get their kids involved. Get them on your back. Get your kids to do push-ups too. Do push-ups around the house so they see it. I have dads saying that kids are cheering them on and it's like the coolest thing. Get your wives involved. My wife has done push-ups during bedtime before because she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do some push-ups.
Right.
And she would like crank out like 5, and I'm like, come on, you got 10 in you.
Right.
And it's just fun, as guys, physical fitness, like we all kind of have that male macho thing in us, right? So I'm kind of using that to my advantage to like pull people in and get some that competitive nature we all have. But I want to encourage, I want all dads to know, I am just as proud as a dad who does 1 a day as a dad who does 100 a day. The numbers don't mean anything to me. It's just that they're showing up for themselves because nobody's telling them to do push-ups.
Right.
They can drop, and it's to eliminate excuses too. Because you got 2 arms and you got a ground, you can do the push-ups. You don't need to go to the gym. Yeah, the gym would be great, but you can do them anywhere, anytime.
Man, this is amazing because I was going to ask you what has been the impact, and you've answered that perfectly, my friend. And what are the next initiatives you have, or like in the horizon for the Real Dad Life community?
Oh, there's so much. I am beyond grateful to be in the position I am with the community because we have a lot of really good core members that just really care deeply about what we're doing, and they understand the mission that it's about helping men become better fathers, husbands, and leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in it together. So I want to prioritize in person as much as possible. Virtual is great because
Mm-hmm.
we're spread across the country or
Right.
multiple countries,
Mm-hmm.
but I really want to create values and principles for the group. So dads in local areas can create their own in-person things. So think of, I'm in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. So I'm going to start Dads of Downingtown as part of the Real Dad Life. And what we're going to do is once a month, it's going to be an in-person meetup where it's something physical. So we'll do a workout together. Maybe we'll go on a hike. We'll do a ruck or a jog or a strength, whatever. But it's going to be like a once a month thing. So I want to help that so dads can form their own community locally. Because I'm starting to gain my own community here, like in my own neighborhood. I run a Sunday workout boot camp where I get some dads involved, and I just put a circuit workout together. And I'm like, guys, like anyone can try. I got moms involved, and they're actually usually outnumbering the dads, which is really cool, including my own wife. I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, in-person prioritization is going to be huge. I'm going to level up things with the podcast, just, have different series. I'm going to take the community and move it to an actual community platform. So we're going to be on an app at some point. So you can actually build better connections with people. You can see where they're located. You can see things that they have in common. And then I'm going to have free resources because I'm going to get partners of the Real Dad Life community where, they'll have free resources available for these guys. And then, yes, there will be a paid version of this community in the future where guys who want to go deeper and they actually want like one-on-one attention or a small group setting, I'll make that available through the partners of the Real Dad Life, through their services, whether it be coaching or workshops. And we'll have a full calendar so guys can see this. And then lastly, we're going to do a dad venture retreat. So I had this plan for last August. I had interest at about 6 or 7 people that were like, yes, I'm in, but I'm sorry, I can't make that date work. So it's going to be I don't know when it's going to be. It's going to be spring or summertime in 2025. I already have the venue picked out. It's going to be a disconnect to reconnect type weekend, and also helping dads just kind of dip their toes into what does the inner work actually mean. I don't want to, throw anyone in the deep end, but we're going to hike. We're going to be in nature. We're going to, ditch our phones. We're going to do fireside chats. We'll do shared meals together. We'll exercise together. We'll do some meditation together. We'll do some just reflective time in nature where you can just roam around the property. It's in the mountains and next to a creek, and it's just like an awesome, awesome place.
Nice.
So that's what's on the horizon.
Okay.
I'm so happy for it.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
My friend, this is amazing. I really look forward to that. I think this will be, like a great project, as you mentioned. And I truly thank you for sharing your insights and, and your work of empowering dads and like fostering that connection is really, it's admirable. So we appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Before I forget, I think there's a tradition that I want to keep it alive. I've been ignoring it now and then, but I want to keep it more consistent. So one of the
All right,
prior
let's
guests
do
had
it.
asked, huh? Yes, sir. One of the prior guests had asked, what are the things that you think, um, what what do you advise moms to do to help us as dads?
So first of all, I think
I know it's a lot of
it's
things, I guess, but I would like for you to address this amazing stuff.
there's so many. I think as dads, like we just need to hear that we're doing enough and that we're doing a good job. But moms need that too. Like the same thing that dads need, the moms need that too. So I know when I say this, it's like moms out there might be like, well, I need that too. Like I need to hear I'm doing a good job. So, you know, any mom listening, we know you're busting your butt and you are working hard and you have an incredible list, a mental load on you, and you do so many behind the scene things that probably don't get appreciated enough. But let your husband know that he's doing a great job. Let him know that you love him for him, and thank him for being, a good father. But then the other thing I would say is share the load. Your husband may be a little naive. I know I was, when we first had kids, I had no idea what was on my wife's mental load. I had no idea all the little things that she did that I took for granted because I never asked the questions.
Right.
So, my wife always said, well, it's just too hard for me just to tell you. It's easier for me to just do it. And we had to have a sit down conversation. I said, I love you and I want to help you as much as possible. But hey, I don't know what I don't know. Could you please share some things with me? And I'm going to screw up, but please bear with me. I want to help you as much as possible. So it would be that conversation as well, as have a chat with your husband and just let him know what you have on your plate and let him know it's coming from a loving place. You're not saying you got to do more, you got to do this, I'm doing all this. Just give him a behind the curtains look a little bit, and then he can choose the things to step up so you can really form that partnership and that teamwork that a strong marriage is. And your relationship will be better off for it. 100%.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach. That's a coach advice right there. We appreciate you. And what other question you have for dads in the next podcast or just in general, that once they address that, we can have a better future as dads?
What was that?
Sorry.
What's your question?
What question do you have for the next dad on the podcast? So once they address that question, then we can have, like this question that was posed to you now, you see, now we have those two great responses that will make us better by, so what are the questions you have, like just any question that you want to share with the next dad?
Interesting. A question for the next dad.
Oh man, because we have everybody now, which is amazing. Because we're all big family. It's all about parenthood now.
It is, yeah.
Yes, sir.
It takes a village.
Yes,
sure.
sir.
So I would say I always like hearing, just, what their best dad advice is. Like, what are the lessons? I'll do this. What are the lessons that they learned from their father that just now became apparent? Because I know that there were so many lessons that my dad taught me that I had no idea he was teaching me until even just these last few months. And I'm at a point in my father's journey, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, Dad, I didn't realize that you were teaching me this, and you didn't realize you were teaching me this, but you taught me this.
Right.
So I'm curious to hear, what other dads are noticing now that their dads passing along to them, because it helps put it into perspective that, we all want to teach our kids, a million lessons, but more is caught than taught. So realizing that and knowing that your kids, you're already teaching them just by you being. So the more you can focus on just being a good person,
right?
You don't have to give your kids a lecture or say, hey, here's a lesson, son. Always do this. Just be you,
right?
Authentically you,
right?
And then your kids will learn more than you can ever imagine.
Amazing, sir. Thank you so much. So please, all the listeners, if you're looking for a supportive community and a roadmap of becoming the best version of yourself, check out my friend, with a Real Dad Life community. Angelo, thank you so much for doing this, and let's all continue to thrive and strive for a more real dad life. Until next time, stay puzzling, keep growing, and keep being the awesome dads that you are. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, boss. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, so that's done. Appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely, that was awesome. It says we're still live.